Choosing the right broker is often difficult and complicated, but today we're going to be comparing two of my favorite brokers to decide which one takes the crown. None of this is financial advice, but let's compare Invidia Trade versus XTB. So here we are on the landing page of Invidia Trade. And as we can see here, it's pretty friendly and it lays everything out very nicely. Now we're going to get into the nitty gritty here, talking about spreads, talking about account types, and how easy it is to withdraw. But besides that, overall on the surface, this site looks pretty good. Let's take a look at XTB. Yeah, looks pretty good as well, and we can see pretty simple, if not a little bit more complicated than Invidia Trade. So for newer traders, this might actually be a little bit more overwhelming compared to Invidia Trade. Now let's talk about what you can actually trade. So Invidia Trade offer a bunch of different assets here, including forex, indices, commodities, stocks, and crypto. Whereas if we look at XTB, we can actually go over and see they offer stocks, ETFs, CFDs, and some investment plans here as well. But the main difference between XTB and Invidia on this front is XTB don't actually allow you to invest in crypto, whereas Invidia Trade have tons of different crypto assets that you can trade with. So as you can see here, if you wanted to trade Bitcoin, you can do so. If you wanted to trade EOS, you can do that as well. And all of the top cryptos here are available to trade with Invidia Trade. So that is good. So overall, comparing what assets you can trade, Invidia Trade is going to take it on this front. Now let's talk regulation and leverage. So here we can see XTB actually offer a bunch of different leverages, but yes, they're only going to offer 500x leverage to non-UK or EU residents. So that could be a little bit limiting to people from the UK or EU. So if we go over to Invidia Trade, let's see how that compares. If we go down to the bottom here, we can see Invidia Trade is actually regulated out of Cyprus, giving it a lot less restrictions on the leverage and where you can trade from. So overall, you're basically going to get 500x leverage on Invidia Trade on a bunch of different locations that you may not with XTB. So overall, in terms of leverage and regulation, I'm going to give it to Invidia Trade again here. But what about withdrawals and deposits? I mean, the speed of which you need to do this is very important because you want to get going trading right away. So with XTB, you actually have free deposits, no minimum deposit, and withdrawal of a minimum of 50 USD. So that's pretty good. And compared to Invidia Trade, it does get ahead on a few things here, for example, minimum deposit. But if we are talking about the speed of the deposit and more importantly, the withdrawal speed, I would definitely say Invidia Trade does win on that front because you can deposit with crypto, you can deposit with bank deposits, debit or credit card, or even wire here. But when we're talking about withdrawals, I will say Invidia Trade does take the cake here when it comes to withdrawals, because you can withdraw with crypto, which will be basically instant, and bank, which is usually instant in most cases. So overall, comparing the terms and fees, I am going to have to give it to Invidia Trade again here, because these guys just have such a fluid site and everything works incredibly quickly. So we can see here the standard account is 500x leverage and typical spreads are 0.8 pips, which is incredibly cheap when we're talking about fees for trading all of these assets. And that is pretty decent here. And because of the regulation and the lower restrictions here on Invidia Trade, you can actually trade over 200 different pairs. Now, when it comes to trading tools, XTB don't really have much to offer here. I mean, they're going to give you a code you could probably put into your MetaTrader, but overall, because they're an older company, they don't really have that much on the front end you can trade directly on the platform with. Now, when it comes to Invidia Trade, these guys actually have access to TradingView, MetaTrader Cloud 4 and 5, Cloud Vision X, and Cloud Trader View. So you can basically use any of these platforms to trade with Invidia Trade as your broker. Whereas on XTB, you're going to be limited to what you can use this with, and there's going to be some API backend codes that you're going to have to get and share to basically get this connected with whatever trading platform you use. So overall, I am going to have to give that to Invidia Trade as well. And that is going to be it for this video, guys. Overall, Invidia Trade is going to take the cake on this front because they are just faster, they are better, they're cheaper, and they offer crypto to trade as well. So fantastic stuff. Check out Invidia Trade in the description, guys. And that is going to be it from me for this video.